Did you ever feel pressured when you were a kid that like you had to find someone like your parents?
I think it's important for our kids to see that we are actually human and we're not just parents.
Yeah.
We are a marriage, we're a couple, we're family members, we're everything that they are too.
What are some flaws that you see that we are portraying to our kids?
Welcome to the Raw Parenting Podcast. I am your host, Mallorie, and this is my amazing husband, Thomas. So if you're looking for real deep conversations with parents who are wanting to grow and raise healthier children, you are in the right place.
The reason why we started this whole podcast is because we felt so alone when we first had our kids, and we still feel that way in some ways. And so we want to reunite all the parents out there who are feeling lonely, who are wondering where the heck the direction of this world is going, who want to raise resilient and critical thinker. You definitely want to stay tuned for more of this podcast.
And so basically the whole topic for today is going to be, what does our marriage look like through the eyes of our children? So it's going to be a good one. Stick around. Now, for those of you that are watching, we've noticed that a lot of people watching us aren't actually subscribed to us. So if you would like to subscribe, if you like what you see, please subscribe and maybe even leave a comment. That would be great.
Do you like what you see?
Anyways, all jokes aside. Okay, so let's dive right in.
Yeah.
So I think the main point of this video is we've seen mainly on shows, I would say. Because I don't know if we necessarily have the examples. Like you and I definitely don't have this example, but of people saying like they can't find relationships because they see their parents' marriage and it's just so beautiful and like they can't find something as good as that. Yeah. Which leads them to continuously be single.
Or it's the other way around.
Right.
It's like my parents' marriage was so messed up
I never want to get married.
I never
ever.
want to get married again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously lots of in between as well.
Yes,
obviously,
lots.
But
probably more in between than both sides.
We just hear a lot about those things.
Yeah.
So I think it's just funny.
Well, I think what sparked this whole topic was I feel like you and I have a really good relationship. We don't argue much. We don't bicker. We don't really do any of the petty stuff. Like most of the time. Sometimes we do. Most of the time
Yeah.
we don't.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, yeah, like I feel like when the kids look at us, I wonder like 20, 30 years down the line, are they going to feel pressured that they're not going to find someone that's like their parents, you know?
Right.
If their relationship is a little different, are they just gonna be like, oh, that's not like our parents, so I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I guess like looking into our marriage and like what our kids are potentially seeing, what do you think that they're seeing right now? And do you think it's a good thing? They're still very young. Let's recap. We just have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old and a baby on the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So still very young.
Still very young.
But
yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like what they see is probably just a lot of unity between you and I, because like if we make a decision about the kids, you and I are both like on it. It's really rare that we're like, okay, let's just say if Peanut wants a chocolate, you say yes and I say no. It's so rare that happens. It's usually you and I are very united on the decision, and that's like that most of the time.
yeah, and I feel like that just happens naturally a lot of the times.
Yes.
Like there's 1 or 2 moments where we're like looking at each other like,
yeah, should
So
she
she
go
can't
down
see.
watch TV?
yeah. Or
But then again, we're just like, whatever.
yeah. So I feel like that's really nice is that we have that like telepathy type thing almost where we're just like, yeah, I know Tom would be okay with this or vice versa. And we're usually on the same page. But yeah, there are moments where, where we do have to like, let me get back to you quickly.
Yeah, especially when she's like, I want to go to the indoor park, right?
Yeah.
Then we're just like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Who's bringing her? Do we
Yeah.
want to go? Is there enough time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really tough. It's like, we'll talk about it later kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that is definitely something that I've learned from my parents specifically, is because my mom had mentioned that to me before I had kids, was that she always said that they were always united when it came to decisions with us. And so that means like they would never disagree about something in front of us when it came to decisions about the kids, right? And it was always like, even if they didn't agree, my mom said, they would still have to like not show that they didn't agree, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess my thing is that with us, like, okay, so we're a team, and she knows that like she will never get any different answers from one of us.
Right.
Would that is that a good thing for her that she doesn't have like an alliance? Like she doesn't have like that one person she can kind of like, Dad, like can I and like have that kind of unique bond where she can kind of develop bond with one of us in sort of leniency.
Well, and I feel like that leads to being taken advantage of as a like for a child to a parent, because there are situations where kids they're smart, right? So they're going to know that, okay, well, I know mom's going to say no, so I'm just going to go straight ahead and ask dad. And then so they're always going to get what they want, which necessarily might not be a good thing, right? And sometimes they need that structure, which is why I mean, I agree. I think what my mom said was a great thing, that we should be united always on decisions. And I think we had mentioned this in a previous podcast. I can't remember, but
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
yeah, just about like, even like with our friends or something, and you'll be like, oh, let me check with Mal. And I'm like, if you said, let me check with Mal with our kids, I'm like, then again, they just know who to go to when they need to ask things. And this is obviously things for future, like when they're older and things are actually becoming more and more like serious and like, they're actually able to manipulate us. But
Yeah. Well, and
so I
sorry to
don't know.
interrupt you, but the big part of that is nobody wants to be the bad guy,
Right.
right? And that's the other thing too. Like I feel like right now I'm kind of like the bad guy.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell in like Peanut's eyes. Like I'm
Oh, yeah.
always the one that's like,
She's always prepared for you to be like,
yeah,
no.
no. And
So yeah, maybe in
it's-
this situation, it might be better for you to almost be the like,
exactly
yeah,
to
okay.
you want chocolate? Here you
Yeah,
go.
and then I be the no, no, no.
Yeah.
Just so that it balances us out a little bit.
Yeah, I think to add more to you say, it's just like, yeah, like you don't want to be the good guy and a bad guy
Yeah.
in a relationship, because then that really throws things off.
Yeah.
I can feel it now as a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm the villain in the house in the movie right now.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, like
Just with Peanut.
Just with
because
Peanut.
little lady, she just like loves you so much. So.
yeah, for now. She doesn't know any better. Too young. But yeah, I feel like most of the time I try not to let it get to me, and so it's good. But I do feel like sometimes it kind of sucks. Like when you see your kid just know that you're gonna say something, or they have already like prematurely like react to like a reaction that you're gonna do. Like I haven't even said anything yet, and she's just like
Yeah.
fall on the ground and crying this, and I'm like, what did I do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's
I know.
so
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody
maybe-
has to be the bad guy.
Well, I was gonna say maybe for Peanut's situation specifically, we need to maybe adjust that, right? Because every kid is different, so we should almost take different approaches for each child. Granted, that might not work as they get older and see all of these things, but like for now, maybe Peanut does need to have more reassurance from you that like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go to dad, because like right now I think you're like the fun guy, right? Like they come to you to play, they don't come to me to play, because I'm like, no,
Yeah.
too tired to play.
Right.
But for you, they're always like, Dad, let's go play downstairs.
Yeah.
Or like, they're very much more active in playing with you.
Right.
Versus me.
Yeah.
So.
Which is what I want. Like I want to be like the guy that's doing stuff with the kids. That's
Yes.
my role, and that's
Yes.
so I'm happy.
You
to
like
do that.
taking them out, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah,
it's so much
like I
work.
love taking them out. Like in the future, I just love. Yeah, like I just hope we can do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I will enjoy that when they're older.
yeah, exactly, and not
Versus
pregnant.
now.
Yeah.
And not pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. But then, as we talked about as well, you had mentioned like, what about like everything else when it comes to agreeing and being a unit as a husband and wife, like in front of your kids, like instead. But what does that mean for everything else?
Okay, before we jump into that, let's dive into a little bit about us now.
Okay.
Right. Let's
Right.
give the people the little backstory on us.
Okay.
So did you? I think that's one question we asked each other or something like that. Or I asked you. It's like, did you ever feel pressured when you were a kid
Right.
that like you had to find someone like your parents? I guess.
Right. No.
No.
Yeah, no, I never felt that. Just because, okay, so first of all, I mean, my parents were, when they were together, I was very young. when they got divorced. So like I don't really recall their relationship as a marriage per se, since I was so young.
All right, guys, if you liked the video, comment, like, and subscribe. We also have a newsletter comes out once a month. It's called rawparentingpodcast.com. You can put your email in and you get a newsletter once a month on our biggest tips. And back to video.
And then when my mom remarried, that relationship for sure, it was, it was nice to see that my mom was so happy, and like it was really cool to witness her and just knowing that a relationship could be like that, because from what she explained for the relationship before, it was not like that at all. I mean, again, for me as a child, I don't recall. But I do remember seeing her, obviously, through the past 20 years of her other relationship. Like, yeah, I recall all that. So
yeah. So in some parts of you were inspired, I would say, and you kind of like made some mental notes, like, okay, these are the things I would like in that relationship.
Yeah, just seeing what kind of fun things you could do with a partner. Like, but I never like compared relationships with like, but they don't do this for me like my stepdad does. Or like, I never did things like that. It was never a comparison of like, I need to have the exact relationship of my mom or of my dad or whatever, like I never felt those feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, not to say that like they're not admirable people. It's just,
yeah, well,
it was never something that I was just like, oh, like they're just the most amazing relationship in my eyes, like it was just never something that came across my mind.
What were some of the qualities that you admired?
Yeah, I really liked the fact.
From both your dads, I guess.
Yeah. I really liked, for one, with my dad specifically, it was, I knew that he was a really good provider and protector. And I knew that that was a quality that I also wanted in a partner. So there's that. And then like with my stepdad, it was very much like, he's so fun and he's so giving and he's so, just relaxed about a lot of things. And like, that was the complete opposite of my dad. So I knew I wanted combinations of like both of them in a sense. But again, not that I ever really compared the marriages or anything like that with my relationships. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there was definitely lots of qualities that I admired and that I definitely wanted in my own relationship.
I see. But you never know, like, oh man, this is the guy that I'm like,
yeah,
it's gotta be like this or nothing.
Kind of thing. Like, you joke about like, would you date a clone of your dad or my stepdad?
They always say that, right? A girl tends to date someone like her dad.
Like her dad, yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that I ever necessarily thought that.
No.
Per
but
se.
I do feel I am a combination of your dad's.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like I'm like literally them combined. And
exactly.
you have me, basically.
Exactly.
Because I could relate to, both of them with a lot of things.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like you take qualities from all of the things that you love.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you find something like that in a partner. There's lots of things where I'm like, ugh, definitely don't want that. Like I don't want somebody like that.
Yeah.
Which I have told you as well. Like with my dad specifically and money, like that was a big controller in his life. And I said to you from when we started dating, I'm like, I do not want to marry my dad when it comes to money.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. So there was definitely things where I'm like, made comments about that. But yeah. What about you?
With the question of would I date someone like my mom, I guess.
Yeah. Or would you did you admire her and her relationships or anything that you would bring into your...
Yeah, and I that's a tricky question. If mom's listening to this, love you, mom. Like, I think you're a special lady. You did the best you could.
Obviously, this is not any sort of like bashing against our families. It's none of that.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because it's also how we feel. So it's like, and I think a lot of my life I grew up just like, basically not wanting anything. If I were to pick a partner, it would be pretty much the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was a big part. It was like, man, it's literally the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And so like my mom and I, we get along just fine now. She's a great grandma. She's a great mom to me still.
Yeah.
And she's changing her ways as well. But yeah, throughout a lot of our life, we were just like butt heads
Yeah.
every single day. I can't remember the countless fights that we've ever had in our life. So yeah, no, I didn't want somebody that was really stubborn. That was a big thing for me. Someone that's just unreasonable.
Which I am pretty stubborn, so that's kind of funny.
No, you're not in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just someone just, yeah, because my mom grew up as a single mom for a lot of her life, so she had to be strong, and so someone that's just not so strong, I guess that would be nice. Just understanding, passionate,
Right.
loving,
Yeah.
and just won't jump on your throat with anything you say and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah. The
Hmm.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's hard to say because again, if our moms do listen to this, I mean, it's at those stages in our lives, we were all different, right? I mean, we were young, brains not fully developed. Like, we had a lot of growing to do, and like, you're in those stages of like butting heads with parents, and like there's lots going on, lots of changes. Like, you're trying to figure out your life, they're trying to figure out their lives still. It's just like so weird. So, yeah, to take any of that personally, I hope that they don't.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's just one of those things that, yeah, for me, like, I just never thought about it that way.
Yeah,
Like, I want to
yeah.
marry someone like
Yeah,
this.
seriously.
No.
So yeah, we often hear, especially with kids who come from like perfect parents, they often have a lot of pressure finding a spouse is because like they see what a perfect relationship looks like. And for them, it's like if they can't find that, then I'm just not gonna jump into anything. And so they end up staying single for a while because they can't find anything that's like their parents. And I feel like that's hard to hear, and I don't want our girls to go through that if we can.
Yeah. And I think the other part of that too is the children are feeling pressure about having a perfect marriage like their parents, but then the parents don't necessarily know that, so they're like, why are you still single? And then like the pressure just gets even worse on the child, and it's just like this double-edged sword of like you're constantly losing. And then like when a parent meets a partner and then they don't like them, then it's even more pressure because you're like, oh my gosh, like now, so I could see that being, it's admirable to think that like your parents' relationship is the best thing in the world, but it comes with a lot of consequences, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know if perfect parents talk about this before they have kids. Like let's show them their best traits. Let's never show them any flaws, and hopefully they can model after. I don't know if they have like a little prep talk before they have kids,
Yeah.
or if it just happens organically. They don't even realize it.
Right.
But yeah, no, like I hope that we do show our flaws.
Yeah, and I think us even having this conversation before and like thinking about that as a topic for today, it's definitely an eye opener and something that we can reflect on going forward, which is the beauty of all of this. And yeah, I think you're right. But at the same time, what kind of steps can we take in order for our kids to see that, we're not always a unit. We don't always agree on everything. And so I think some great ideas for that might be just if we don't agree, like we need to show that with our children that like, okay, like, well, what do you mean? And like actually discuss it and then show them how we can actually resolve our problems as well, which I think is super important. It's one thing to like disagree and be super angry and like split ways.
Yeah.
I mean, not fully split ways,
Yeah, for sure.
but like,
Yeah.
versus showing them like, okay, like we're both not in agreement right now. So like, how are we going to fix this or come to a compromise?
Yeah.
And allow our children to see that, right? Because when they don't see all that stuff, you're going to land in that perfect parent category. And yeah, now realizing we just don't want that.
Yeah, and not be like, let's talk about this later.
Yeah. We'll
Depend-
talk about it later.
Yeah, I mean, some things you might have to talk about later.
Yeah.
But if it's a simple, like, whatever, you don't disagree what the kid's gonna do, then like let's talk through it. Let's talk it out.
Yeah. Well, and again, like I think keeping again, I kind of want to keep that kid thing somewhat separate if we disagree on something with the children, just because, again, like they don't need to know that we're not on the same path with them. But I would think more so specifically for you and I,
Right.
if that makes sense. You know, if I said something that upset you, for example, you tell me in front of our kids.
Right.
You know, like, hey, listen, Mal, like I didn't like the way that you said that to me.
Right.
And then like then that way it'll show our children that like, okay, so they're not always, you know, on the same page. They don't always agree. And now I'm watching them, you know, confront each other in like a healthy way,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I wonder when does a child start, I guess like what's the word I'm looking for? What like when does a child start like envying the parents' relationship? Like when does you know, like when does all that start, when they understand what a relationship is? I
Yeah.
guess. And like
Yeah, I feel like this is something that we're gonna have to deal with like later on in life.
yeah.
As they're like little kids, I don't think it's like a big thing because
Yeah.
I don't recall all that stuff. I mean, I recall, I don't know, like I don't recall my parents' marriage and connection, and they divorced when I was 10, I think, and I still don't recall what they were like at 10.
Yeah, it's tough.
But again, like that could have just been like our living situation, like our lives at the time. Like I just, you know,
Yeah.
it just wasn't cognitive to think about those kind of things.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that it can't happen early. I don't know.
What are some flaws in our, I guess, yeah, what are some flaws that you see, I guess, that we are portraying to our kids right now?
No flaws because we're perfect.
Right.
And this is the problem. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Flaws that we portray.
I can go if you want.
Yeah, you go.
I feel like getting frustrated.
Right.
And Pina sees that too. And
Yes.
she'll be like, are you frustrated?
Yeah.
Deep down, like, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nope. All good. Yep.
Oh, see, and I tell her I'm frustrated.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah. And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. Sometimes I tell her that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be honest with her, like
Yeah.
if I am feeling upset about something, and I'll be like, yes, I am frustrated, and like I'm taking deep breaths to like feel better, or like I'm frustrated because of this,
Right.
you know, and I need you to understand why I'm getting frustrated. So
That's
yeah,
good.
I definitely do tell her because I think that she needs to know that like again, we're not perfect, and yeah, like I am gonna get mad, I do get angry, I do, you know, like I do get sad and all of these things. Like
Yeah.
they're all regular emotions. I'm not a robot.
Yeah, no, maybe I do need to start being more honest with her, I guess. I do try sometimes, and most of the time, just like, nope, I'm good, you know, just to like show her like I'm not frustrated and I'm not bothered.
Right.
But yeah, maybe it is good to show her that I am, and so that she knows that, you know, her actions are causing us to feel frustrated and this and
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. And I will tell her, I'm like, you are not listening and that's making me frustrated. I have to keep talking to you and telling you the same thing
Right.
like 5 times. And it's frustrating me that you're not listening.
Right.
So yeah, I will tell her.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
again, she is, I know it's like talking like to a 3-year-old talking that way, but
Yep.
she is so advanced in her like vocabulary and like her logical thinking and stuff that she is able to understand it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think another thing that I'm flawing at would be, I don't know, just I'm still just struggling dealing with the emotional side of having a girl.
right.
Like, to me, this is so foreign. I'm still trying to adjust to it. I feel like, to me, it's just like, man, when it happens, I just feel like I just almost feel like I'm like out of space in some ways.
Yeah.
It's just like so foreign to me, and I don't know how to react to it still. And like sometimes I wish, you know, like I do react to that better so I can understand her better, because I feel like sometimes that she knows that I don't understand her, and she gets more frustrated.
Right.
So that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder what kind of things, like, what are you doing now to resolve those? Like, so when she shuts down, you immediately shut down too.
Yeah, it's almost
like-
like we both shut down together.
But like,
And in my head, I'm just like just toughen up, deal with
Yeah.
it. Like, let's go, come on.
and what's a certain example of this? Like her falling on the ground and you're like immediately like shut down? Or
No.
is it like, you know, she gets hurt, or is
No,
it
just
an emotional
like,
thing? Like, what is it?
Like if she doesn't get her ways of some sort, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, It's like, she just breaks down when little lady have something and she wants it, and then she just starts going crazy and this and that.
Right.
And I'm just like I don't like dealing with little petty emotions. I really struggle with that. In my head, I'm just like, OMG, like just
Look.
figure it out. Like, come on, like.
Yes. Okay, so an example of that would be last night where little lady had the clips, right? Do you remember that? She had this like it's a toy that's like it's just got buckles on it that you just buckle and
Oh,
unbuckle. And she
right.
was literally sitting with me. She's like, "I wanted that toy." I'm
Something
like,
like that. Sure. Yeah.
"Peanut, you don't even grab that toy ever unless little lady has it." Okay? And sorry, just for everyone who doesn't actually know, Peanut is our 3-year-old and little lady is our 1-year-old. And yeah, so she like you never want that. And now you're like upset and breaking down because she has a toy that you want now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So you're talking about an example like
Something like
that?
that. Yeah. Like, and luckily she didn't go on like a full on meltdown. And sometimes
No.
she will.
She
Like,
will
sometimes she
sometimes,
will
yeah.
literally just go on a full on meltdown, just stuff like that, because she's tired, going through stuff. I don't know, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And like to me, I'm just like, yeah, I struggle dealing with like hard meltdowns like that.
Yeah, and I think for me too, like I definitely struggle with it as well cuz like it's just so constant. It's like, "Oh my gosh, like haven't we learned by now?" But for me, what I do in situations with that is I will make sure she can't see my face, first of all, because I'm probably rolling my eyes or like, oh my
Or
gosh, like,
sometimes it's
this
so
is so
ridiculous, you start
annoying.
laughing,
Yeah, and that does happen
and
sometimes. And she'll catch
she'll
me.
catch her to get more pissed.
Yeah, she'll get, which I mean is fair. I should not be laughing, but sometimes it's so ridiculous that you
It's
don't know what else to do.
yeah,
And so, yeah, so there are moments with that. But yeah, I usually just try so that she can't see my face. And then that way, like, I can use my words still, though. Whether I mean them or not, at least she can't see my face and feel like an emotion from me, right? So if she's sitting in my lap, she'll be facing outward and I'll just like hold her and say, hey, I understand that you're frustrated that, your sister has this toy that you want, but you never play with it. You can grab another one. It's her turn right now. If you would like it after, then you guys can take turns. So it's like, it's kind of like an automatic response that you kind of have to come up with. Because again, I shut down just like you do, but unfortunately, because you shut down, it falls on me to be that person. And so it's just kind of what I've learned over time is you just have to make these small adjustments. But yeah, I totally get it. It's very frustrating. It's like, oh my gosh, this again. Like,
yeah,
this is super annoying.
yeah. It's just so constant as well.
I
And she's
know.
a smart girl. That's why she's so emotional and very in touch
Yeah.
with her feelings. So that's great.
Yeah.
But it just sucks dealing with it right now. So
It does. And
yeah.
also, I mean, just what you also could do since we're doing some conscious stuff as well is like just immediately jump to, what she's going through. Like, hey, she's tired. She's going through this teething phase right now. Like, and just like remind yourself of all the stuff she's going through because that sometimes helps and makes it easier.
Yeah, that's a big part of parenting is understanding. So,
Yeah.
all right. Anyways, so to bring it back, everything to bring it back,
Sum
from
everything up.
sum everything up. So yeah, I guess some of the things we're gonna do is that we're gonna show more flaws, not be afraid to talk it out with each other if we do have conflict.
One thing that I think would be a little bit more beneficial is showing compassion more so towards each other. Not that we don't, but I just think maybe, offering hugs every now and then. Like, hey, like, you seem upset today. Like, would you like a hug? Just kind of like what we would do with our kids,
Yeah,
just to show
true.
compassion more so all around to everybody. Because
Yeah.
it seemed, for me specifically, talking for myself,
Yeah.
it's always so kid focused. And I know how bad that is because we've heard like marriage should come first, or well, God first, marriage second, right? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Marriage comes before your kids. And I definitely lack in that for sure. Just because like, it's just so overwhelming because I get overwhelmed so
Yeah,
quickly.
that's a really good point. I think sometimes maybe we're being too parent driven. We
Yeah.
need to mix in a friend there a little bit, like with the hugs, with
Yeah.
the hey, how are you doing? It's
Yeah.
just with the hug, yeah, with some snacks. You want to like just like a friend
With some
would do
what?
with some snacks. Or
Oh,
something.
snacks. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
said that so fast. But yeah, no, exactly, right? Like I think showing compassion to everybody in the household, not
Yeah,
just
true.
with our kids, you know, because we have moments, we break down, we struggle lots, and you know, yeah, I think it's important for our kids to see that we are actually human and we're not just parents.
Yeah.
We are a marriage, we're a couple, we're family members, we're, you know, we're everything that they are too, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we could definitely work on.
Yeah.
And me specifically, because
Same here.
I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good point.
and a resolution for us this year was to put more of our marriage on top of things. And I think that that'll be important too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I guess the other just thing to end it off would be, you know, like how do we hope the relationship will be like in the future? You know, like what do we hope for them? And
for their relationships or what they view of our relationship?
I guess
Both?
both, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think for what we hope that they see of our relationship, as you said it already, right? We want them to know that we do have flaws and we are capable of reconnecting and, you know, confronting each other and having compassion for each other, you know, just like all of those things, that we're just normal human beings that are doing our best every day. And I think that that's kind of what we want our kids to know, is that, you know, we don't have a perfect marriage, because no one does. And so I think that's the biggest key is, you know, we're not perfect.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I want them to instill as well would be to know that they can talk about anything with their partners,
Yes.
and they should. And I hope they see that through us. Like we literally talk about, you know, like everything with each other, right? That's of course appropriate kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I hope they can talk about it with their partners too, because it's so just awesome.
And I do hope that they, you know, try to get certain personality traits in a partner that relate to us. You know, like I'm okay with them having those thoughts and feelings, but I don't want them to see us as like the ideal couple to mimic. Because yeah, that's not good. But yeah, if they were like, you know, I really want someone who's really strong and compassionate and like this and that, like, you know, a combination of who we are, like I think that would be great. But I definitely don't want them to mirror our relationship.
Well, the thing is, like, they're all gonna grow up to be their own persons, right? So like, and we are our own people. So it's like it would make sense for them to find something that matches their character more and spirit and like, you know, all that stuff as well, like because they're all gonna be on their little individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, yeah, you don't want to find someone like your parents because you're not kind of like them in some sense.
However, you want to find someone that'll jive
Yes,
with your
jive,
family.
yes.
If you're a big family person,
Yeah.
you know, you don't want someone that's going to come and crash the whole friggin' system down.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
But-
that's something that's something we can't control, fortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I just hope that they realize that yeah, their own little individual, and I hope that we can raise them to find something on their own. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, find somebody that jives well with them.
Yeah.
And their personalities. That's the most important thing. I mean, unfortunately, eventually, parents will not be their main source anymore. Like, we will not be number one priorities to them forever, right?
Yeah.
So they do need to find somebody that will, and we have to be accepting of that too. If we understand, like, you know, there's a few qualities that we don't necessarily like, but like,
he's a
you
good
know,
person.
overall,
Yeah.
you know, so we have to be cautious of
We
that
have to
too,
be,
like
yeah.
understanding that we can't choose their partner.
No, and we shouldn't imprint their partner in their head that they should be like this.
Exactly.
You know,
And
it's
they need
like-
to be like us, and we have to approve of them. And
Well, yeah, because like they go through their own
I mean,
journey.
we should approve of them. Sorry.
Yeah, we should approve of some sort, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go through their own journey, right? Like they're gonna like experience life different than we did. Mm-hmm. So like, who are we to say like you need to find someone like that?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're gonna go through life yourself here.
Yeah. The only thing that I do truly hope out of everything is that they are open and honest with us about their relationships, whether it's good or bad, how that they're feeling, like all of that stuff. I just hope that our communication stays very open with them as they grow older.
Yeah.
So that's my main takeaways, my thoughts. I mean, obviously we don't have the experience yet. We're very far from this stage of life.
Yeah, we are.
However, I do think it's important that we've acknowledged it, and we're like, you know, it's in the back of our minds that like this is something that we should think about.
Yeah. it's an interesting question popped in my head, but like, what would be the one dating advice you give to your kids?
Oh
And
boy.
this is like actually, like,
Oh,
yeah.
the one thing, dating advice for my children.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I think the one main thing that I would say is do not change yourself to fit someone else. The missing piece.
So peace meets the big O.
Yeah. No, but honestly, yeah, because like I did that a lot with my previous relationships when I was young. I tried to be somebody that they wanted me to be. And I never want that for our kids.
So if the person likes skateboarding, you're like, I'm all about skateboarding, blah blah blah, like kind of like that kind of thing.
Yeah, don't be a Ted Mosby. I always bring up How I Met Your Mother, but
Yeah.
so relatable in so many things.
Yeah.
But yeah, do not change.
Who's he again? Who's Ted?
Ted
Oh,
Mos-
Ted, like
yeah,
the
there's
main
like,
guy kind of thing.
Yeah, there's
Right.
like a little. This is off topic, but he literally comes out. He's like, "I'm going skiing today," and he comes back and he has like broken bones all over. Like he never skis, or
Oh.
like I'm going bee hunting, or
Right.
so yeah. It's just so funny that he changes who he is.
Right.
And it just doesn't work. It never works. It always fails at the end of the
Hmm.
day because you are mainly true to yourself once you know who you are, right? So, yeah.
So are you saying like, don't start dating till you know yourself? I guess that's kind of tough, right? 'Cause
It's tough,
in
'cause-
some sense, you find yourself through dating as well.
It's true. Exactly. Yeah. Like, so, but I think like to find a main partner, like if our kids were like, I'm getting married, and I'd be like hell you are. You don't even know anything about life or like yourself. Like, I don't know. I feel like you just need to have some sort of idea of the partner that you want to fit you rather than you fitting all of these other individuals, if that makes sense.
I think I'm going to struggle with them making their own mistakes, especially
Yeah.
big ones.
For sure.
I think I'm really going to struggle with that.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough.
It is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah. Like, for example, if they come home one day and be like, I'm engaged, and you're like, to that guy?
Yeah. Like, wait, what?
Wait, what? But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. What if our kids go on Love is Blind? Would you be okay with that?
I feel like the logic, well, not logic, but like the side of me is like, you just have to let them go.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that point, I hope that we would have instilled enough characteristics and good values and all of that stuff
That's the thing.
into our kids that like we just have to believe that they're going to make proper choices for
At the
themselves.
end of the day.
And let's face it, you didn't make proper choices for yourself and I didn't make proper
Seriously.
choices for myself.
And
But
here we are.
Here we are. And like look at us now.
Yep.
So like, yes, I agree. It's gonna be
It's
so,
gonna be so
tough letting them
tough.
make decisions. And I hope that they talk to us and ask us about it too.
Yes.
And like want our opinions. And again, they don't want to just go out and do these things just to spite us. Like I don't want any of that.
No, I don't want any of that.
So
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I hope they can come to us, but in order for them to come to us, it has to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
They have to feel comfortable from day one.
yeah. And all of that leads to communication. Like literally everything
Well,
that we
yeah.
talk about boils down to the communication.
And understanding,
kids.
right?
Yeah.
Because you can talk all you want, but if you don't understand each other,
It's true. Yeah, open mind.
yeah.
Communication and an open mind for sure.
And just not judge. That's hard.
Ugh, and we're so judgy.
Hard it is. Just like, you just have to be like, okay, what are you going to do now?
Yeah, like, is that the best decision?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's going to be, I feel like that's going to be tough.
I think it'll be tough for us to think right now. Obviously, it's still going to be tough, but as we like grow with our kids and all of this stuff, like I think that that's something that we should just not even think about at
Yeah.
this point. Like, let's not worry about it.
No, for sure. Yep.
And I know you're not, but like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Like we're gonna be growing,
Well-
they're gonna be growing, and like let's just hope. Well, no, I know that our kids are gonna turn out just fine.
Yes, same.
So
Yes. Yeah, right. But like, it's just like, yeah, like, how do you convey them that this is the right answer? But like, if you tell them that, they're not going to take the answer. So like,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
how
tough.
do you,
well, and also there's that classic saying, right? Like some people just want to have you listen, right? They
That's
don't
the
want
thing too.
advice.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to play it out with our kids, you know, like, would you like my advice on this?
Right.
Or would you like me to just listen?
Right. Right.
You know, and that's something that we could work on as well. Like,
Yeah.
what are you expecting from me in this conversation?
Yeah.
Like, what are you looking for?
True.
So,
Yeah, that's a good one too.
and again, that all just leads to good communication. So,
Yeah.
which is, you know, we're not perfect at communication. There's lots of things that, you know, we struggle with too. Like, there are things where, like, if you're talking to me, I should ask you, like, what are you looking for from me before let's get into this? Like, are you wanting advice from me, or are you wanting me to listen?
Right.
You know, I think that that's a great way to start instilling something better
Yeah.
for a good
No,
outcome.
I think with 2025, yeah, I want to balance out more between the parent and the friend, because I feel like being a parent all the time just drains you. It just sucks.
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
you're always constantly saying no, blah, 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 this and that, bad guy. So
Yeah,
I would be better at being the friend.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, like, I think our kids do have a quality marriage to look up to. And yeah, I think it is important for us to, yeah, just make sure that we are aware of these things, and let's try and be more raw and open with them.
Yeah.
We are the Raw Parenting Podcast
And sign
at
out.
the end of the day. So, yeah. But no, honestly, if any of you guys have ever experienced thoughts like this, or if you're going through moments like this as well, like, definitely leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you, or you can email us as well at rawparentingpodcast@gmail.com.
And sign up for a newsletter at rawparentingpodcast.com for a free newsletter every month, and we won't spam you.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Just kidding.
Gotta be truthful.